Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're all holding on to your 2080 Ti's 20 series GPU a little bit closer tonight. That pretty much nobody was able to get a 3080. So have a little bit of an update. Apparently Nvidia did issue sort of an apology or explanation as to exactly what was going on. So let's get right into it. Remember to subscribe if you like my content. A lot of hardware reviews, water-cooled computers, as well as GPU information coming up. So let's get right into it. So Nvidia, apparently this is what they said. This morning we saw an unprecedented demand for the GeForce RTX 3080 at global retailers, including the Nvidia online store. At 6 a.m. Pacific, we attempted to push the Nvidia store live. Despite preparation, the Nvidia store was inundated with traffic and encountered an error. We were able to resolve the issues and sales began registering normally. To stop bots and scalpers on the Nvidia store, we're doing everything humanly possible, including manually reviewing orders to get these cards in the hands of legitimate customers. Over 50 major global retailers had inventory at 6 a.m. Pacific. Our Nvidia team and partners are shipping more RTX 380 cards every day to retailers. We apologize to our customers for this morning's experience. So there you have it. Nvidia issued at least some sort of explanation and apology. I think Newegg also issued something similar. So before we get into it, let's just rehash some of the experience that I talked about in the previous video. In the morning, right at 9 a.m. Eastern, I actually was able to buy one on Newegg, but a few minutes later, I got the email saying it was out of stock and my order was voided. And I was surprised because I was there really early and I saw that it was in stock. And then after, a little while, I saw that a lot of people had this similar issue. So I guess it probably comes down to very low stock. Maybe it is true what they're saying with some of these little glitches and errors that they had as well. And then, of course, after that happened, my launch day was, pretty much done because everywhere else was sold out. I did make a trip to Best Buy and Micro Center, which, while it didn't result in an RTX 3080, it did result in some kind of hilarious interactions. By my local Best Buy, let's see if I can get lucky with an RTX 3080. So when I went to Best Buy, immediately I saw a couple of people sort of walking towards where they keep the GPUs, and they would look at the case, walk around, maybe one or two of them would go and talk to like a Best Buy employee, and I would see the disappointment. I didn't even want to ask anybody because, I took a look at that GPU case. They had some older, 20 series GPUs and things like that. Nothing of a 3080 anywhere in sight. I knew it. I went a little bit later too in the day. I knew I wasn't going to find anything. I had to go get something else actually over there. So when I went to check out with the other item I bought, just happened to be a Corsair AIO for a different test that I'm doing on a gaming system. After I checked out, I thought, let me ask the employee here. So I started saying, could you please check if you have stock of, and before I could even finish saying something, could you please check if I have stock of something? He stopped me, looked at me, and he said, is it the new GPU? And I was like, yeah, I know everybody's probably looking for it. He was like, we're not even able to order them. I can't tell you how many people have asked me this question today. And I even asked him, did you get any at all in the morning? And then he said that he thinks they did, so he wasn't too sure. So I just thought it was really funny that he would know what I was talking about. Best Buy has a million things. It's a very general place. Generally, you're not really going to go there to buy just a GPU or computer parts. It's not like Micro Center. So I found it hilarious that when I asked him to check for some stock, he knew exactly what I was talking about because he got so many other people going in there and being disappointed. And I saw the guys walking out of the store. You could look at their face and see the disappointment. It broke my little gamer heart. It really did. But then lucky for me, I also made a trip to a Micro Center as they're not too far apart. I needed some fittings. Trust me, I had no illusion that I was going to walk in there and be able to get a GPU. I read about the lines that were forming and the vouchers. I really did need some fittings for a water-cooled system. So of course I go in and I asked anyway, what's up with the 3080s? And I even snapped a little picture of the GPU area. And you can see here on the left, there's a sign that says, the Nvidia 3080, something about it being sold out or it's going to be scarce availability. I didn't even notice the sign at the time. I just wanted to get a picture of the actual GPUs. So pretty much uneventful. They had no idea when they're getting more stock. The only funny thing that happened here was that actually one of the employees there kind of recognized me. I've been in there a lot, recognized me because, another employee in the store had me show up on his YouTube recommended page. My videos have been doing a little bit better the last few weeks. So I thought that was hilarious and I was very, very happy. I guess you've made it as a tech YouTuber when you're recognized at Micro Center. So that made my day, made me very happy. Made the fact that I missed out on the RTX 3080 a little bit better today, even though not too many people even were able to get it. So I don't feel too bad, but this definitely was the cherry on top. But anyway, let's just go back to that Nvidia statement, sort of apologizing and explaining what happened. They just said encountered an error, so that could be like a million things. And honestly, every single website that I tried to go on, the morning of the release, seemed to encounter an error. Best Buy was terrible. The website was giving me error messages. Newegg was bad. Amazon wasn't even showing up. B&H wasn't even showing the searches. I kept getting errors as well. So it seems like either there was such huge demand, everything was really affected. According to Newegg, demand was even more than on a Black Friday, which is actually pretty crazy, because GPUs are such a niche item. It's such a thing that you would think only gamers would get. So it's pretty crazy to think it was more popular than Black Friday, which has millions of general products. So I thought that was pretty incredible. So all in all, definitely a combination of factors, and who knows how low the inventory actually is, or if Nvidia is playing some type of inventory game, limiting availability so that way the prices jack up and people have, a lot of scarce products, so the demand goes up, the hype goes up. I'm sure that's all part of it as well, but it's definitely disappointing that the launch was so bad. If you look at a company like Apple, they're used to having very hyped up products depending on the release of the iPhone. Some years it's not as bad. Some years there's an incredible amount of hype, an incredible amount of demand, and they seem to have a pretty good system, even with millions and millions of people wanting to get the phone. For example, let's say when a new iPhone's released, you can buy it and it may tell you it's going to ship in a week. Let's say if you're a little bit late on launch day and you order it hours later, you can still buy it. It's just probably going to tell you that it's going to ship in a month or maybe a month and a half instead. But at least you've reserved it. You're not in this sort of unpredictable nature where you don't know what you're going to do with your phone. You don't know when you're going to get a new phone. So if Nvidia had a system like that where, okay, let's say if you're the first one to buy the 380, maybe it would ship and you would get it in a week. But let's say if you were, a half hour late, maybe you could still buy it, pay for it. And I'm sure a lot of people would be okay knowing that it's only going to come in a month, maybe even 2 months. At least then you know that you're guaranteed a spot and you know how to plan your build around that. You know when you're going to sell your GPU. As it is now, a lot of people sold their 20 series thinking they were going to be able to snag a 3080 today, and now they're kind of just stuck with nothing. And if Apple can do it, Nvidia is a very smart company. Look, they just bought ARM. That's how big and powerful of a company they are. They make AI, artificial intelligence in cars, in computing systems. They make a lot of extremely intelligent, high technology stuff. So you're telling me they can't figure out a simple little ordering system? Even if there's high demand, they could predict there's going to be that high demand. Apple does it all the time. So that's why I think maybe there are other things going on here. It's definitely very disappointing. I really hope for the 3090 launch, they learn from this mistake, and the 3070 launch, and they fix whatever the problem was, and that way more people can actually get in on the ground floor, be able to buy these GPUs, because or else people are just going to be very aggravated and very mad. And of course, the first thing they're going to do is blame Nvidia, say that Nvidia has some type of nefarious plan, or start with a lot of conspiracy theories, and it really doesn't help Nvidia. It doesn't help us as the consumer. It just makes it overall an unpleasant experience, and I think Nvidia knows that. That's why they issued that apology and explanation. So let's see what happens with the 3090. If people couldn't get a 3080, they're going to be crazy for the 3090. Oh man. And that's going to be something that not only is it more expensive, I'm sure there's less of them than the 3080 because typically less people would buy a GPU that expensive. But now that we have the scarcity on the 3080, I think that one, if the 3080 sold out in about a second, the 3090 might sell out in about like a millisecond. So I think it's going to be a very interesting launch. And then the 3070, hopefully by October, they have these issues ironed out because really, if they can't can't get it ironed out, AMD could come in with a RDNA 2 at the end of October, and we could see this holiday season really swing in the favor of AMD. But I think Nvidia's smart. They probably will ramp up production and have more stock in October and November to compete with AMD. But all that we know for now, this launch was definitely not too much fun. So let's see what happens in the next few months. Remember to subscribe. Good luck to you out there hunting for these 3080 GPUs, and I'll see you guys on the next video.